Before we come to you very quickly, the best kept secret, this Dimension Data deal in the whole of corporate activity history in South Africa.
Certainly seems that way. There was no suggestion of it at all. Maybe it's because you're doing a deal with Japan, which is quite far away. I'm not really sure. So there was no cautionary out ahead of the announcement. And I think pretty much unexpected, and quite a lot of looking around to see how this deal fits. And I think that's quite an interesting chat to have with Brett in terms of what are the synergies between Dimension Data and the Japanese company.
Well, as I said, Brett Dawson, the CEO of Dimension Data, joining us from London, and perhaps that is the point to start. What are the synergies with NTT, Brett, and Dimension Data?
Hello, Bronwyn. I think the synergies are, well, I would rather say leverage is massive between the two organizations. They have a significant asset base in telecommunications and data center assets all over the world. And so they will be able to form and help us extend into that communication services for our clients, and importantly data center services as we move forward, so we can extend our offering from IT services to IT and communication services, and we think that's going to be very significant for us going forward. So we have a very complementary alignment here. Where they are weak, we are particularly strong, so that's our footprint. The emerging markets, all our geographies really come to play with NTT as a very significant, the largest Japanese company, but reasonably weak outside of Japan, really been able to get the best of both worlds. Their balance sheet, their strength coming externally from Japan, and our footprint in the rest of the world, we see that as a very exciting tie-up.
Brett, when you took over as CEO, you put out the target there to get the margin to some 5%. You've achieved that. There are market players out there saying that potentially you could have taken the margin even higher to the 6-7% level. Do you feel that you couldn't have done it alone?
Bronwyn, we could have. Absolutely. We'd set in February this year our new targets, which quite simply was to continue to grow at double digit as we have for the last 5 years, and to move from 5% to 7% operating margin. We think we could have done that. This deal is about accelerating us beyond that time frame. So we think in 3-5 years out, it's important that we can add this type of value to our offerings to our clients, and it's really to move beyond that we've gone and sought out this deal.
Brett, just from my side, how much involvement will the Japanese company have in the local operation? Let's say at a director level, would they be represented on the board? Is there going to try and be an integration of those cultures? Because it would seem that that's vastly different. How much involvement will they actually have in the day-to-day operation of Dimension Data?
Well, a very important point is that they really do recognize that the business models between the telecommunication layer and the IT layer are actually different. So you will see Dimension Data continue to be run, operated, as it is today, as a separate standalone entity. Just like as we own both Dimension Data brand and Internet Solutions, we've never integrated those businesses. Similarly, there's no talk and no intent to integrate these businesses completely. Where we will look for that leverage is really in the go-to-market opportunity on the new services that we can take our clients. So it's all about the sales and growth and very little about integration. So they'll be looking to the Dimension Data management, the leadership. They've asked for our commitment to really go and be the spearhead of internationalizing NTT.
Brett,
so looking to us to really take a leadership role.
Perhaps on that point, when you say that they have asked for the commitment from the senior management team, are you not anticipating any changes on that level? I see earlier when your executive chairman, Jeremy Ord, was speaking to Stephen Gunyon on Power Lunch, he certainly said that he was in it for the long term.
Yes, Bronwyn, I mean, we have committed, the executive directors have all committed to NTT, and we're working very hard to ensure we can get our, as much, if not all of our leadership and all of our 11,500 people across the line, and very positive about the deal.
Brett, just a question from my side. Just after this merger, I just want to understand, where do you see your growth prospects looking forward, sort of 2 years out from where we stand at the moment, and the growth prospects geographically? I mean, do you want to really integrate yourselves in the positions and the geographical space that you're in at the moment, or where do you see the growth coming forward and the technological sort of advancements moving into possibly Africa, or obviously you know, penetrating into the East? Where is the sort of geographical growth that you see going forward?
Okay, for mate, the first low-hanging opportunity for us, the low-hanging fruit, if you like, is to really go. NTT is massive in Japan, and there's a real strong drive from Japanese companies to internationalize, to globalize. NTT at the moment cannot satisfy that demand. Dimension Data will be going after and trying to offer its current existing services to those Japanese folks, you know, straight away. So that opportunity for us to take what we do today in the geographies we're in today to those Japanese multinationals is our first and foremost target. Then beyond that, we will be looking to extend our footprint further. As you know, we've been building out in Africa, in the Middle East, in South America, and together with NTT, we'll need to expand that, we think, somewhat more aggressively than we have been doing, and probably more aggressively than we would have been. So we'll, in the first instance, of those Japanese clients. Secondly, extend the footprint. Thirdly, add new services in addition to the current services we offer. So in the short term, much more about managed communication services, managed data center, and about 5 years out, we're looking at really going on to the whole aspect of cloud computing and being able to offer our clients a service both on-premise, if you like, in their offices, where Dimension Data is so strong today, and now in addition to be able to also offer services which, you know, people refer to as cloud-based computing services. So we'll be able to do a bit of both of those, and we think that'll position us very strong to be a leader in global managed information, communication and technology solutions.
I want to come back to the fact that this was such a well-kept secret. Now, you must have been working very hard while we were all distracted by the World Cup. But I think there's a lesson that other executive teams need to take from your ability to keep this such a well-guarded secret. What procedure did you follow? Because earlier, Jeremy Ord pointed out the fact that NTT had started off as a client relationship, and you have been in discussions with them for some time. I think he mentioned a 3-year time period.
That's probably correct, Bronwyn. I think we have terrific people, terrific leadership who believe in our story, and we were able to, you know, convince those folks that we brought on the inside to keep it extremely tight, to plan the whole thing carefully. We had a lot of work to do to make sure that we could get the cultural alignment, the operating model, the initial game plan and strategy, and we managed to do a lot of work on that, so that as we launched today, we're able to really reach out to our people and make sure that they can get comfortable with the acquisition.
Brett, just help me understand from NTT's side. You know, they're a big, as I understand it, they're a big telecommunications company in Japan, maybe the biggest, I don't know. Just help me understand from their perspective, when they're looking to do this deal, is it that they are attracted by your exposure to emerging markets? Is it they're attracted by the specific exposure within South Africa and Africa? What do you think is initiating their involvement from their point of view? Is it part of a longer term strategy to extend their business generally into emerging markets?
Well, I think it's a bit of all that. So first and foremost, they are a $100 billion organization, but 97 of that is in Japan. So it's only about $3 billion outside of Japan. And they really have set themselves a key objective of growth and internationalizing. And we are their big play down that score. So all of our geographic footprint really does play into that on the one hand, as you mentioned. And the other is that they see us as not only that footprint extension, which would probably not be enough to be an interesting deal, but in addition, they can access all the competence, the skills we have in the IT services where they are weak. So it's both the geographic and aggressive geographic play for them, and at the same time to take them from the telecommunications and the data center layer right through into real managed IT services, which they see as critical, so so that they can lock down for clients that entire value stack, so much more than they do today.
Brett, are you expecting NTT to do other deals of this nature?
Well, they will not be doing other deals of this nature other than through us, Bronwyn.
And then very quickly, if this deal has been 3 years in the making, Brett, I assume that you can now speak Japanese.
Not quite. Learning a couple of words, but we're doing a lot of work through interpreters still today.
Brett Dawson, the CEO of Dimension Data, thank you very much for your time this evening, sir. Thank you for joining us from London.